What's up, guys, and welcome back to the DualSense podcast. This is episode 25. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jason. I am joined, as always, by Travis. Trav, what's good this late evening?
Not much. But
Uh-huh. What's all those noises? Are you good?
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything to say.
I'm gonna weave this in. I'm gonna weave every bit of this in. You just pick it up whenever you think of something. Just bop, bop, bop.
I was making robot noises.
Oh, I thought your connection was like in and out. I was like, God damn, here we go. Can't even play a fucking game, and now we can't do a fucking podcast.
Yeah, well, speaking of, what's with the connection issues that me and John have and you don't?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like John, I think has, John's kind of cheap. He doesn't like to pay for much, except for video games. So he's probably got like the 20 meg internet or the 20 MB. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't even the shit you can't even get anymore because he's grandfathered in. It's so damn slow.
Well, see, yeah, I have the LAN cable plugged in, and so the weird thing is, like, sometimes when I start, well, I'll take that back. Every time when I start, I'm not connected, and there'll be like a 5 or 10 second pause, and then it'll pop up and I'm connected. It does that every single time. I'm never automatically connected as soon as I turn it on. And occasionally it just never connects. So like it hadn't done it for a week and a half or so, probably like a week and a half until yesterday. So yesterday we were doing an F1 thing with the league. So I still have that on disc on PS4. So I was like, well, whatever, I'll just turn that on real quick and we'll go. Well, even though I have the disc, the updates are on my external hard drive. So I'll plug that in and it won't play the game at all. So I was like, that's cool. So whatever. I'm annoyed at that point. So I put it back into the PS5 and I'm just like, fuck it. I'll just get it on. I'll just re-download everything to the 5. Forget it. So I do that. And I leave it plugged in because I still have like GT Sport and Red Dead and whatnot on the external hard drive. Well, I'll turn the game on. This is after I've downloaded F1 the second time onto the PS5. It won't go to the home screen. It just keeps telling me the external hard drive is corrupted. And it needs to fix it. So I run the whole fix thing. Well, then I just have a black screen. It won't take me to the home page. And it says it ran all of the processes on the external. So like when I hit buttons on the controller, it just gives me the circle with the dash icon in the top corner and just makes the beep noise. I'm like, what is it doing? I can't figure out what it's doing. So I restart the system, which, by the way, it shocked the shit out of me when I restarted it.
Oh, that's not good.
The whole thing again. Does the whole exact same thing. Goes to the black screen. It's just sitting there. So then I was just like, fuck it. So I pull out the external hard drive, turn it back on, and the bitch just worked.
This is on the PS4?
This is on the 5.
Oh, it's on the 5.
Like,
okay.
yeah, the external hard drive was like confusing and it didn't understand that like it couldn't fix it. So I just said, fuck it. I unplugged the damn thing and I just downloaded the racing games onto the 5. And if we have to deal with memory space in the future, I'll pick a game and delete it. Forget it. I'll just sell the other thing. I'll sell them both. I'll strip them both down and sell it.
You need to be careful for the time being because we've seen the stuff where people have had their PS5s bricked because of the external hard drives because there's some type of glitch right now. So you need to be careful till they patch that out for sure that we know of.
Yeah, so I think I almost bricked.
Yeah, it sounds like it. That would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, I wasn't very happy. I was starting to throw stuff.
Well, Travis, for the uninitiated or the noobs here on the podcast, we are a weekly podcast where you and I get together to cover all of the week's news in the world of PlayStation, as well as rumors, upcoming game releases, and a little bit more. If you would like to engage with us, you can do that on Twitter at the DualSense Pod. And if you would like to check out some of our game clips and streams, eventually, anyway, when we get some on there, you can find us on YouTube at the DualSense Podcast, where we also upload every new episode for your viewing/listening pleasure when new episodes go live, as they do every Sunday. And without further ado, Travis, talk to me about what you've been playing in the past week.
Well, last night we did a trial for our new F2 league in our UNF1 league thing that I commentate for. So we're starting a lower tier league. So F2 is kind of like the AAA version of F1. So I'm racing in the F2 league. We did some time trials, and then we did a couple races to kind of, I guess, see where we fit and pick teammates and teams and whatnot. So I think I was 11th fastest by like half a second. In the top 10, got to pick their teammates. So I was fine with that because I didn't want to pick a teammate. That's a lot of pressure. And then, so the way F2 works is you qualify, then you have a race based off that qualifying session. And then after that race ends, you do another sprint race, but the grid is reversed. So if you finish last, you'll start first. So I disqualified myself in qualifying because the game doesn't like it when you stop in front of the pit lane. So I got disqualified.
Really?
It wasn't, well, look, what happened was I was on a hot lap and I invalidated my lap, and I was like, I'll just go in the pits and get new tires because I screwed up, and I crashed going into the pit, and I blocked the lane because I crashed.
This sounds like a disaster.
So it gets worse. So it disqualifies me. Whatever. So we start the race. We're on the grid. So the way it goes is you get your 5 lights. There's a pause, and then it's green. I jumped the start, which is a drive-through penalty through pit lane. So I'm starting 7th. I'm second to last on the grid. Jump to start. Had to do a drive-through. On my way to do my drive-through, I speed on pit lane, so I got a 3-second penalty. And then I got another penalty because I exceeded the track limits too many times. So I ended
you
up
said you won this, right?
No, this is the first race. The first race I finished 5th.
Okay,
So
I
I finished
like,
5th this race. It was just bad. Like I knew I was making mistakes. It was frustrating. So then we go to the next race, and I'm like, all right. I was like, look, I'm starting in the middle of the pack. Fine. I was like, just stay out of trouble. Don't crash the car. I'll finish pretty well. So that's what I do. The first lap was pretty hectic. We were kind of jostling around. I think I lost a spot and gained a spot a couple of times. There are people all over the place. It's a lot different than GT Sport. It's a little more difficult to see who's around you. But that's expected. Anyway, long story short, at the end of the sprint race, I'm in 3rd going into the last turn. And I'm like, sweet, I'm going to get a podium. Like, perfect. And I go into the last turn. As I come out, the guy in front of me just does a sick 180. Like, just plants that bitch into the wall. So I had to swerve, not hit him. And luckily, right as I'm about to hit him, he ghosts him out. And I drive through him. And I go across the line, and I'm like, shit, I got second. Dope. And then it pops up. I got first because the other guy had like 7 seconds of penalties. So the guy that won beat me by like, I think 4 or 5 seconds. But he must have been all over the road to get that many penalties. Anyway, so I ended up winning. But guess what? It doesn't matter if I won by penalties. I still won.
It's still a win. Still a win.
Anyway. So our real race is tomorrow at 2. It'll be on the YouTubes and whatnot. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, that's what I did on the F1. 2K was wild this week. I got like 2 amethyst and card packs. I got a diamond off of the token, not the token market, the triple threat board. A team, I pretty much bought Sabonis, who's a diamond center. So my team is like, I just started the Western Conference on domination, and my team is just too good for that now. In a week, I went from like being a competitive game to where I went by 50.
God.
So it's kind of ridiculous, but it's still cool.
You're ready for the big leagues. You're ready for the historic.
And then we had a pretty kick-ass week on Black Ops. So
Mm.
I texted you today about how did you download that app or look up the website or anything about this with the stats?
Not yet, not yet.
So in the games that I played with you, we played 12 matches and we went 10-2.
That's right.
And
Suck it.
two two things I loved about this, and I didn't look at yours. I'm not even sure if I can see yours, but mine my stats are interesting. So one thing is on team death, my life expectancy per life is 1 minute on the dot.
Hmm.
On domination and kill confirmed and modes like that, it's 30 seconds. So it really tells you how differently I play.
Yeah, you're running aimlessly at the objective on the others.
Right. And that's I like to play that way. The whole point of the game is to get the objective, and
Mhm.
I think that's how you should play.
Yeah.
The other thing I think is super cool is my kill to death ratio. So overall, my KD is 1.15, I think. And
Okay.
it was never over 1 last year on any game mode. I am dead on 1 on kill confirmed and domination.
Wow.
On team deathmatch, I'm 1.5.
Wow.
So there
Killing
is like
them.
whatever the other game mode is we randomly throw in.
Yeah.
I'm not good at it. I can't remember which one it is now, but I'm not good at it. I think you had the highest on my friends list overall. You were like 1.4 overall, I think.
I'm telling
And
you, dude, I'm raking right now, which to some
so
people, they're probably got 1.4. I'm too, like,
right,
whatever. I'm an old
yeah.
guy. 1.4 is good.
But when we that's the thing though, when we play and when we pull up on a team death board,
Mhm.
like I always go positive.
Yes.
Always. And that's and maybe it's because of the way we play those other game modes, and maybe it makes it a little bit easier, I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm having a great time with it. Can't really complain, but those stats are
I
really
am
cool.
too.
You should check them out.
I am too. I will. I want to kill tonight. I was going to text you. I think that was what I was going to talk to you about before we started, but I think I want to kill a little bit tonight.
That works. We played a bunch of NBA the last 2 nights.
Yeah, I need it. I need to kill right now. Well, I've also been playing Black Ops Cold War, as you said. You summed it up pretty well. We've had a pretty good run here. It's still very enjoyable, and we're still crushing. And I found a new couple of guns that I've been
Mhm.
using lately that are fun.
Right.
The Bullfrog, which is the
Yeah.
whatever it was on Modern Warfare too, but
The
that's an awesome submachine gun.
PP90 maybe?
The PP19.
That's
Thank
it.
you. That's a great, fun little submachine gun.
Uh-huh.
I've been using the M60 a little bit too. Uh,
Ooh. I'll try that
yeah,
tonight.
light machine gun. It's all over the place. But I just let it ride, man. Just let it ride.
Dude,
And
our Nuketown day was a lot of fun. We had like a whole Nuketown night.
yeah, yeah, we you talk that really helped our KD right there. I still destroy on Nuketown. Like it's not even close. Like I'm always plus 10 on kills
Yeah.
at least on Nuketown, unless we just run into some nerds.
Some epic
I
gamers.
mm-hmm. And then played NBA 2K NBA 2K21 as well, and just I didn't play any domination. I don't think I have been playing some triple threat, trying to grind out some challenges, and I'm very close to having Diamond Stephon Marbury, which I don't know
Oh
if
god, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I got to figure out what I'm going to do because I actually am really enjoying the Russell Westbrook card. I started
Mhm.
to play him because I was struggling a little bit in domination, and then I put him as my starting point guard, and then I won my next game by like 30.
Yeah.
So he helps quite a bit. He's very quick, and he gets in the paint very easily, and his draw foul rating is a 97.
Right.
And then the other thing I was going to say about NBA real quick is that I think I've figured out a way to get the pink diamond Bob Cousy in the exchange. I have everything else pretty much in place to exchange. The only thing that's holding me back is having 5 Ruby original owner point guards. I have 3, and then I figured out that I think I can evolve cards
Mhm.
to Ruby and that are original owners and trade them in. So I'm working on that right now with 2 cards, and of course I have to have stills for one of them, and it's just killing me. I have 3 left to get, but I'm on my way to that. So I'm gonna have Pink Diamond Bob as my point guard, which is going to be pretty awesome. So
Right.
working towards that. And then I did mix in some Dirt 5. I got through the first like leg of the career,
Mhm.
and then it just opened up like another path of races for me. So that game's awesome. I love that game. I'm terrible at the icebreaker events, and then I'm also very terrible, as you predicted, at the sprint cars. And those are out of control.
Yeah.
So I just finished the race so I could get so I
Yeah,
could get
we're
the
getting through.
yeah, so I could get 1 star and move on. But man, those things are out of control. So
They are I mean, they are like it's most cars that you race on that game, there's a little bit of give and take, and those cars are like full power or nothing.
it's exactly how it was. I was like, all right. Like you can immediately feel the speed. I don't know how, but like you can just immediately feel like, oh shit, this is a rocket compared to everything else I've been driving. And then I was
It
like
is.
in the wall, and then I got the first I had to restart it several times. But the first time I did it, I was like, oh shit, this thing is fast. I'm like Ricky Bobby. And then I like got into the wall, and then but you're going so fast, once you get into the wall, you can't get off of it without uh
Like flipping.
decelerating, because you're stuck basically, because the wheel is just the tires are just grinding on the wall. You can't get off of it, can't turn. So anyway, yeah, those are nuts. But Dirt 5 is an awesome game. Really enjoying it, which I'm glad. And then the last two things I'm playing, I'm back on the saddle. I'm back on that horse on Red Dead Online.
There you go.
And I will say a couple of quick things about it is they have completely nerfed the gold payouts for the daily challenge streaks.
Oh, lovely.
So the max that you can get after you get a 4 week streak, the max you can get is 0.25, whereas before it was
Okay.
per challenge, whereas before it was 0.5 per challenge. So they've nerfed all that in half. Not to mention, after 4 weeks, your streak resets automatically. You can no longer have like a 300-day streak like I had before I deleted it. So that means that everybody there was one guy I saw on Reddit had like almost 600-day streak. He'd almost played the game for, 2 years every day. I was well on my way. And he's going to have his streak reset. So you can no longer just keep piling up the half gold bar for every challenge. So that really, really sucks. That's Rockstar at their finest, trying to drive gold bar purchases and that sort of thing. So the community's really pissed off about that, and rightfully so. And I am also disheartened by it. But I bought the new Outlaw Pass, so I'll do that for the 100 ranks. And I mean, I enjoy the game at its core, and being a cowboy and all that shit, and shooting the guns, and it's fun. So my enjoyment didn't come from just getting the gold bars, although that was nice to stockpile. But then I was thinking the other day when I was playing, I'm like, yeah, I was stockpiling, but what the hell am I stockpiling for? It's not like we've had any. We get like one round of content every 6 months. So like, what do I need? What do I have 1,100 gold bars for? Because they're not going to give us, properties or whatever till probably 2022. So, I mean, is it really that big of a deal if it's going to take me longer to get to 2,000? Not really. So it's whatever. And then the final thing that I played was Days Gone. I played that a little bit more, and I'm still enjoying it. And it's now that I'm going back to it and giving it another fair shake, I guess, and I'm seeing it a little bit in a different light. However, I have not gotten to the point yet that I know made me quit playing it the last time. So we'll see if I get frustrated again at that point. But it's a good game. It's got a little bit of jankiness. It's not to the quality of the other Sony first party games like Ghost of Tsushima and the Last of Us, obviously. But there's something there. There's some magic there. However, as we're going to find out, who knows what is in store for Days Gone. So that's all I've been playing this week. With that, let's jump into the news here. And Travis, I did sneak in a few news items here after I sent this to you today. So I have some surprises for you, but there
All
were a
right.
couple of newsworthy items here that needed to be in here, and it was easier to just include them now as opposed to next week when they would be less relevant. So here we go. Number one, A slew of recent high profile departures at PlayStation Studios have raised eyebrows across the industry this week. Website Push Square reported that a couple of Sony Bend senior leaders have departed the studio. John Garvin, who wrote every single Sony Bend game they've ever made, announced on Twitter that he left the studio over a year ago and has been focusing on personal projects. Likewise, Days Gone game director Jeff Ross also announced that this past week was his last at Sony Bend after having been with the studio on and off since 1998. Elsewhere, website PlayStation Lifestyle reported an apparent staff shakeup has gone down recently at Sony's secret development team based in San Diego that has long been rumored to be working on a new Uncharted game. In recent weeks, the unannounced team has lost senior game designers Quentin Cobb and John Bautista, which led to speculation that the project had been shut down after a somewhat gloomy Twitter post by Bautista. However, he recently clarified in a follow-up tweet that, to his knowledge, the studio is still intact and the project still ongoing. And finally, website PlayStation Universe reported that Gravity Rush and Siren creator Keiichiro Toyama has left Sony Interactive Entertainment Japan to establish his own development studio. Toyama also created Silent Hill while working for Konami in the mid-90s before he joined Sony in 1999. Sony Japan Studio also lost veterans Kazunobu Sato, who was a producer on The Last Guardian, and Junya Okura, who also worked on the Gravity Rush series. Together, the three developers have founded Bokeh Game Studio, which opened its doors in August of this year, but was just announced by Toyama on Twitter this week. Okay, so there's a lot to take in here, a lot of moving parts, but as you can see, Travis, a lot of Sony first party senior leaders have left their studios this year or recently. So what do you make of any of this?
Well, on the Sony Bend front, and this is my super lava hot take. Um, Sometimes you run the course with your team, whatever that is. That's what Sony Bend feels more like to me than anything. They've been there forever. Jeff's been there for almost or over 20 years. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes guys just move on. It's not that big of a deal. And that's similarly what we seen with a couple of the SIE Japan guys down at the bottom. And those guys, even though they left where they were, they've kind of banded together to do their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So from that perspective, I guess that kind of answers that question. It's not that big of a deal to me for those guys. But the part that's the most interesting to me out of all of this is our secret development team in San Diego is losing two senior designers is kind of
Mm-hmm.
surprising and odd. I wonder what do they mean by shakeup? Like, did they not see eye to eye with what the company wanted to do? Were they not? There's a lot of questions there. I don't really know. That was
Mm-hmm.
more worrisome to me, and kind of like the gloomy Twitter. Like, did we lose this game? We don't know about. All of that makes sense. Kind of lines up there.
Mm-hmm.
But why are all these people leaving? Why are they going? It just seems like timing to me. Like I said, Sony Bin and the Japan thing seems like that's pretty logical with how that works. The only red flag to me is what we've seen out of San Diego. So I don't really know what to make of what's going on there.
Yeah, so I think it was Bautista, not the wrestler, but this guy at Sony San Diego or the secret San Diego studio. His original tweet that got people worried said something like, "Oh, it didn't work out this time," you know, and
Right.
so then that's what led him to follow up with like, "Hey, when I left, the team was still there; they're still going, whatever." But it's really so two things. Number one, I think that this is either one of two things, in my opinion. Either these guys didn't like the direction that Sony was making them go on whatever projects they were working on or whatever direction that they were taking as a company with the studio, and they decided to leave, to get out of it. Or the other way around, that Sony wasn't happy with their performance and fired them. And it's really hard to say. And I would say that you were correct in that, these guys like John Garvin at Sony Bend and Jeff Ross had been there so long that maybe it was just time for them to make a change. And this is a good time at the end of the year when things are kind of winding down or whatever. I would normally say that, but it just seems odd to me that both of those guys are leaving together, and then both of those guys are leaving together at the San Diego studio, and then those three guys are leaving together at Japan studio. And all of these announcements came within like 3 days of each other, and they're all kind of on Twitter basically. So something to me is going on, whether Sony made an announcement or a change and all these guys said, no way, I'm out. Or like I said, Sony didn't like what they were doing and so fired those guys. And it's also weird that John Garvin has been gone for over a year and
Like
nobody knew
nobody
about
knew.
it. Nobody knew except for people at Sony Bend, and nobody said anything or accidentally said it.
Right, that's weird.
So, and the fact that these guys all made these announcements within a few days of each other, it makes me think that Sony may have had them sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, to not talk about their departure until now, basically, after the PlayStation 5 is out. So I don't know what the purpose of that would be. I mean, other than just to avoid bad press, which Sony goes out of their way to do anyway, for the
Mhm.
most part. But I guess all in all, something stinks to me about this, and something either it's too many people from too many studios
Right.
to not be something fishy, in my opinion. So we may never find out what happened, or we may find out in the next time that these studios announce a game, because presumably Days Gone 2 is in development, and obviously we think that the San Diego studio is working on Uncharted. I mean, these are senior guys that are gone now, so who knows how it's going to affect the development of these projects too, is the other thing.
Right. And Batista's comments that, "Hey, it didn't work out this time." Like, to me, that doesn't read like a bad breakup. That reads more like a,
True.
"Hey, we're both in a different spot. Like, we can try again later on a different project." I think
That's
that's
true.
something to keep in mind. Now the other guys might have been awful breakups, who knows? But
Right.
the way that Batista worded that makes me feel like it just, "Hey, we were just in different spots." So that is kind of a silver lining, I guess you could take, because you don't want a guy like him to just kind of get away from Sony completely. You at least want him there to work on something that will at least be on the PlayStation. You don't want to kick out talent when you have it, right?
Sure. Number two, the big name departures were not limited to Sony's first party studios, however, as two longtime studio leaders at Mass Effect and Dragon Age developer BioWare have departed the company. Casey Hudson, the general manager of the studio, who also led the charge on the first three Mass Effect games, has stepped down. And Mark Dara, I have no idea how to say his name, should have looked it up. Mark Dara, who was the executive producer on the next Dragon Age game, which is currently in development, has also departed the studio. In a blog post on the BioWare website, Hudson wrote, quote, "It's not an easy decision to make, but I also know that this is a good time for a change for both myself and BioWare," end quote. Dara also shared a statement writing, quote, "This has been a very difficult decision for me. I know that Dragon Age won't just survive without me, it will thrive," end quote. Both gentlemen had over 20 years of experience at BioWare and were monumental in developing their tentpole franchises. So Travis, not Sony first party studios, but another couple of long tenured senior leaders and veterans at a big name studio. So anything you take away from this?
Again, interesting that these guys have what I would call deep into their careers have decided to move on. So that
Mm-hmm.
makes me wonder, is there a certain point in the industry where guys just feel like they want to go do their own thing, or they just need to reboot and hit reset? Maybe that's all this is.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's more to it. I don't know. Maybe they're all going to Microsoft. Who knows? Maybe that's Microsoft's
Oh
secret plan.
God.
Um,
Fucking I didn't even think about that. That
yeah,
would
but
suck.
like 40 years of experience. That's interesting. Look, I mean, I didn't play either of these games, but like we've said before,
Sure.
they're big franchises, and
Yeah.
when you're a big franchise and you lose somebody that you consider a leader like these two guys, it's a little weird and tough. But I wonder
Yeah.
how much again, and we don't know the answer to any of this stuff, but part of me wonders how much the pandemic has to do with it. Like, have they been
Mhm,
working from home? They're maybe they like their new life pace. They like that better.
mhm.
Maybe they think they can work on indies and still have this balance they like more. I don't know. I'm guessing, but it's interesting that these things or these announcements have all came out this week. It's
It
also
is.
interesting that we're in the middle of a pandemic. It just makes me wonder, like, if there's sort of a correlation or a causation or what there.
I agree. There's something in the water, and there has to be. And there's especially something in the water at BioWare because they've been struggling for a little while now, as the last Mass Effect game was not well received and things like that. So this and Anthem obviously was dog shit. That's a BioWare game. So there's something's amiss there. So maybe those guys are, maybe they thought they were part of the problem, or maybe they were part of the problem. So time will tell. Number three, internal data at Sony Interactive Entertainment indicates that single player games are alive and well on their platforms, with PlayStation users spending more time offline than online, according to a report by media outlet Vice Games. Vice recently obtained confidential documents from a game developer that Sony distributed as a presentation in 2019, outlining the activities and game help features on the forthcoming PlayStation 5. Within the documents, Sony noted that their internal tracking data showed that, quote, single player is thriving, end quote. The presentation cites surveys that Sony conducted with its players, with one survey having reached over 3,000 players. The documents also shared Sony's rationale for implementing systems like activities and game help, and may also hint at the future direction of PlayStation Studios titles, having stated, quote, in an ideal world, every player has the time to spend hours per day, every day, playing games. In reality, most people have jobs, or kids, or school, or all of the above. Often, free time comes wedged between other obligations. An hour before bed, a 30-minute break between homework assignments, a few minutes before your online multiplayer match, end quote. So, this is interesting. What do you take away from this?
It reads like they only talk to me and you, like they just surveyed us
I know.
3,000 times. Uh,
Yeah, I know.
but, we've talked about this before, so what makes Sony stand out more than Xbox in a lot of things is their first parties, and a lot of their first
Hmm.
parties, or almost all of their first parties, are single player. So, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm interested to see if you agree, but if you made me list out my favorite games, not just on the PS4, but of all time,
Hmm.
probably 90% of them are single player,
Hmm.
maybe 95%. I'm not really sure. It's mostly single
Yeah.
player games. And the ones that aren't are more like local co-op games, I guess, or
Hmm.
even if they are multiplayer, they're ones where you can kind of do your own thing, if that makes sense. Like you can individualize what you're doing. So,
Yeah.
uh, you know, there's a lot of truth in that statement. I mean, and that's good to know, and that makes me happy because it makes me think I'm going to get more single player games. So, I mean, I
Agreed.
can't be upset with that. This is like very rational, very rational report.
Yeah, I agree. So a couple things that I took away from this. The first thing is that I think this hints at the direction of what Sony is going to be doing with their first party games,
Right.
especially the single player games. So that quote at the end makes me think, and you combine it with what Miles Morales is.
Mhm.
It's a 10 to 15-hour game, excellent game, fantastic game. And I think that we might see more games like that. And they've talked about, we've talked in the past on here how, Jim Ryan has made these comments about all these games are so expensive. They're over 100 million. They're, whatever. So one of the ways that you can cut down on cost is stop making 30-hour games. Make a
Right.
15-hour game. Make a 15 or 20-hour game or 10 or 12-hour game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can
You're
have
still
one
going
big
to
one once a year.
Yeah, you're still going to charge $70 and people are still going to pay it. If you gave me a 15-hour God of War, I'm going to pay $70. I'm going to play it. And the second, and in turn, what that also does is it allows them to not only save costs, but it allows them to pump out games more frequently. So instead of taking 4 years, 5 years for these studios to make a game, maybe now it takes 2 years, 3 years. So
Mhm.
you can increase your cadence with game releases also, which would be awesome. Nobody's going to say, no, give me less God of War or give me less Ghost of Tsushima or whatever. Nobody's going to say that.
Right. And they
Okay.
could add
So,
in like Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer was cool. Especially that
mhm,
mode that we played, like the horde mode. It's kind of like the zombie mode, basically. Like they can still have these multiplayer aspects of these really, really good single player games. There's no reason
right.
they can't. We've seen them do it before. Even if you look at a game like Red Dead, where the single player is one of the greatest we've ever played, even the multiplayer, the online is fun.
Mhm.
Aside from the griefers, but that's any Rockstar game. So
Yes.
yeah,
And
there's
to your,
room for both, obviously.
yeah. And to your point, you think about the best games that people talk about, like, oh, this is one of the best games. It's almost always a single player game, like you said. And even if it's not a Sony game, even if it's not The Last of Us Part Two, it's still, it's Mass Effect. It's Skyrim. It's
Right.
Red Dead Redemption Two. Those are single player games. So there's that. I mean, just the way it is. Nobody says, "Oh, Call of Duty Modern Warfare was the best game I've ever played." They're not saying that. So
Right.
I haven't heard anybody say that anyway. So anyway, there's that. And then the last thing I wanted to say about this was, to me, this also kind of indicates, I think this is a business decision in a way too, what they were saying in that last quote there in that document about free time and how people have jobs and kids and whatever. Like you said, that's speaking to me and people like me and you. We are, um, we're not young adults. We're not old guys either. We're whatever. We're 30-year-old guys, and we have careers, we have wives, we have jobs, but we also have money. And there's something to be said for Sony knowing where their bread is buttered. And there's no doubt that Sony has all kinds of data that says, hey, the guys who spend or girls who spend the most money on our systems are 26 to 26 to 41, whatever. And we are buttering our bread right now. And what do those people all have in common? It's jobs, it's kids, it's school, it's whatever. How do we get them to spend more money? Give them shorter, more high quality games. And then also, let's help them get into that shit quick. Let's help them figure out whatever trophy they want. Let's give them game help and all that stuff. It makes total sense. It's brilliant, really. So, number 4, Sony announced the December additions to PlayStation Now on the PlayStation blog on Tuesday. It's an excellent month for Now subscribers, with the blockbuster Horizon Zero Dawn coming to the service alongside open world survival game Stranded Deep, side scrolling run and gun platformer Broforce, which is excellent,
Mhm.
destruction derby game Wreckfest, action RPG The Surge 2, and hack and slash adventure game Darksiders 3. Not a bad, that's a pretty good month. That's actually
Right.
a very solid month, especially with Horizon kind of booing it there. What do you think?
Definitely. Horizon's awesome. Darksiders I've heard is really good. We both played Wreckfest. I think I enjoyed it more than you do, but
Hmm.
it's just like an adult version of Demolition Derby from PS1. And if
Yeah.
you go online, like there's no you don't have to worry about winning. You can do whatever you want. And there's some really fun game modes on that with like lawnmowers and big combines and stuff. So that's a lot of
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
And Broforce is one of the most fun multiplayer games I've ever played. It's a blast. The jokes are stupid. It's like
Yeah.
you're Rambo or Bro Rambro.
Rambro.
Yeah,
Rambro. Yeah.
it's great. That's an awesome collection right there.
Yeah. It is. It's great. And Broforce, it should be noted, has online co-op, which is great with friends. And then I'm really interested in trying out the Stranded Deep game. Have you seen anything about that? Did you look that up at all?
I have before. I think I did
Yeah.
when it first came out, but it's been so long I don't really remember.
It's like Castaway, basically.
Oh yeah, you're
And
on the island. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, yeah, it looks kind of neat, and I want to check that out. I've seen mixed reviews about it, but
Mhm.
I mean, it's free now, so
Yeah,
there's no excuses.
that's the game I read about that I told you where people like would play for 40 hours and still be on the island.
Yes,
They
yeah,
couldn't
because
figure out
you
how to get
can't.
home.
Right, you can get off. You just have to figure it out. So that interests me greatly. Number 5, with PlayStation 5 consoles in extremely short supply and extremely high demand, scalpers and scammers alike have taken to popular auction site eBay to take advantage of the current state of the market for the PS5, with some listings going for as much as $1,500. In addition to the incredibly high prices, a new wrinkle unfolded this week as some scammers began listing PlayStation 5 photos for sale with dubious wording in an effort to confuse potential buyers into paying hundreds of dollars for simply a photograph of the new console. Website Eurogamer contacted eBay about the ongoing photo scam, to which eBay responded, quote, "We condemn these opportunistic sellers who are attempting to mislead other users. We are in the process of removing all listings for photos of PlayStation 5s from our marketplace, and will be taking appropriate action against the sellers." End quote. What do you think about this?
I texted you guys earlier and said, I think I'm gonna sell a photo and make some straight cash, homies. But
You
like,
did. You did.
um, so listen, that this is super dirty of them,
It
obviously, to
is.
sell pictures. But
Mm-hmm.
I need to read the wording. So if the wording is super, like you said, if it's super dubious and like
Mm-hmm.
like just confusing, then yeah,
Mm-hmm.
obviously you should reel them in, you should ban them, fine them, whatever. But if the thing says photo of a new PS5 and you pay $1,000 for it, that's your fault. I can't help you if it says photo of a PS5.
I
'Cause
kind of agree.
I
Yeah.
saw one that said new PS5 photos. That's all it said, and it was a picture of the dude's PS5 on his like on the stand turned on, and you can see the TV. He's playing the PS5, and the bid on it was like 750. I'm like, it says
Oh my
PS5
god.
photo. I can't help you.
Yeah. I can't. I don't feel all that bad for the people who just don't read the title. The ones I feel bad for are the ones that say, new PlayStation 5, read description.
Right.
And then you go
That's
read the
different.
description. It's like, yeah, it's like, this is for photos only of the PlayStation 5. Like, still, though, you didn't read the description of something you're going to pay hundreds of dollars for. Like,
That's fair too.
take 2 seconds to read that shit, fam. Like, I don't know. But that's funny. The new wrinkle is going to be, instead of new photos, it's going to be nude photos of the PlayStation 5. It's going to be like PS5 with a bikini photoshopped on it. Number 6, it appears that Cyberpunk 2077's multiplayer component will be much more than just a tacked on mode. Developer CD Projekt Red president Adam Kaczynski, who we hear from a lot nowadays, recently told investors on an earnings call, quote, "So first, we don't call it modes. It's a separate, dedicated production, a big production. We think about it as a standalone production." He said production a lot, end quote. Kaczynski also noted that while the multiplayer game is related to the single player game, that a separate team is building the multiplayer game. I said multiplayer game a lot. CD Projekt Red has previously stated that a multiplayer update is coming in Q1 of 2021, meaning an update on the status, and that it will not launch until after the main game's DLC is out, and no earlier than 2022. So, what do you think about this? Sounds like it's bigger than we might have thought.
Right. Well, you want it to be its own standalone thing. I view Red Dead Online and Red Dead as two different things. Same thing with GTA and GTA Online. So, and
Mm-hmm.
it just seems like a very big missed opportunity just to make it kind of connected like that. It needs to be its own standalone thing, I think, to get the full value out of it. So I'm not
Sure.
surprised they're doing it this way, though. I mean, I can't imagine them doing it any other way.
Yeah, this excites me immensely. So I did see some after this came out this week. I saw a little bit of chatter on Twitter, and people were kind of just nonchalantly mentioning this in the same breath as GTA Online and Red Dead Online. And if it's anything close to those, oh my god, this is going to be my next 850-hour obsession if that's the case. So I'm very excited about this. It's unfortunate that I'm going to have to wait until 2022 or whenever for that to happen, but they're going to have the DLC to hold me over. So it's exciting. Number 7, video games are more popular than ever during the COVID-19 pandemic, as you might have imagined, but new data from industry sales analyst, the NPD Group, is much more impressive than you might think. Website GameSpot reported that the number of people in the United States who play video games has risen to 79%. Total time spent gaming is up 26%, and the total amount of money spent on games has increased 33%. And finally, and quite incredibly, the NPD data also shows that 4 out of every 5 US consumers have played a video game in the past 6 months. And this does include mobile games, I should note. So,
Oh,
yeah, what do you think about this?
it's 80% of all humans in America. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was excited about the numbers, but then you said mobile games, and I was like, "Oh yeah, duh," because
Yeah.
that's what old people play and children. Um, it's pretty
Sure.
incredible that 80% of people play something that some people think totally corrupts your brain and makes you want to murder people. So we should keep that in mind as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but anyway, of course, it's up 26%. There's nothing else to do, and naturally, with that, you spend more money. So this seems about right to me.
Yeah. That's fair. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, and GameStop is still gonna fail. I'm just saying.
Yeah, this time next year there won't be a GameStop. We'll be having a much different conversation about those guys. I mean, these numbers impress me. Like you said, 80% of every or 80% of all U.S. consumers have played a video game in the past 6 months. So even though it's on mobile, it's still a good sign that video games are alive and well. And it's video games are a very pandemic proof form of entertainment. There's no doubt about that. Number 8, Arrowhead Studios officially announced their next project on Thursday, a next-gen AAA third-person co-op shooter. In a release on their website, the Helldivers and Magika developer revealed that the game will feature, quote, next-gen graphics, innovative co-op, and agency for the community to alter the course of the game, end quote. The studio also announced that they are looking to scale up the project from their current team of 65 developers, and it's worth noting that this new game has been rumored as a possible PlayStation exclusive, and it is also rumored to be named, or perhaps codenamed, Testament. So, any
Mhm.
thoughts on this? The guys who made Helldivers going big?
Testament's an interesting placeholder name. It makes me wonder if it's like into the worldy, kind of like Book of Eli, or if it's like
Hmm.
just like it could be a story like a Testament story. I don't. I like the idea that it's like
That's interesting.
really big and like deep rooted, kind of that gives us a lot of play in sort of like the lore of the game, which is always fun.
Hmm.
I will say, giving the community agency to alter the course of the game might not be the best idea because what is a camel? It's a horse
Yeah,
designed by a committee.
true.
So that worries me because it could be like this completely cohesive game, and then like all of a sudden 3,000 people get together and they're like, "We should make everybody have spaceships," and then you were like, "What are we doing?"
Right.
So I always worry about shit like that whenever they give us as a consumer so much leeway because we're dumb as a group. We're just stupid as a group of people. I don't know if I like that.
Right. I'm on one hand. So when I first read that, I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." Well, what does that mean? And then now you've talked me out of it. Uh, so I'm interested to see what that actually means when it comes out. But this is cool to see these guys go AAA,
Yeah,
and
for
do
real.
something different because Helldivers was fun.
It
So
was a good time.
yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on this one. Number 9, new Sony strategic creative partner rapper Travis Scott is rumored to be designing his own PlayStation 5 game as well as a limited edition console, according to a new report from Forbes, of all people. The publication claims to have a source close to the situation revolving the US rapper, who stands to make a cool 20 million off the Sony partnership deal. So, what do you think? You're going to go for you're going to spring for the Travis Scott PlayStation 5 and Def Jam video game?
Definitely not. Def Jam video game's a great call. Um, I'm a little disappointed that our first limited edition console is going to be the Travis Scott edition.
Mhm.
I can't even imagine what that's going to look like. I will say
Yeah,
the Travis Scott Nikes were dope as hell.
that's
Um,
true. That's fair.
but that's not going to make me buy the console. This guy is like he's a damn
Right?
magician, man. He's got his hand in every pot. He's got McDonald's money. He's getting
Mhm.
PlayStation money, and
Mhm.
listen, more
Fortnite
power
money?
to him. He was Fortnite money. He was playing 2K before the system even came out. I
Yeah.
mean, this guy's
I want
everywhere,
his
but good for
agent.
him. Yeah, his
Yeah.
I wonder yeah, that's a good question. I wonder how he's doing all this. I wonder if he's doing it by himself or if, like, he's got Jay-Z calling people up. I don't know. Th
I need
but
that dude's agent. I don't even think he makes music.
he got nominated for a Grammy, this year for Highest in
Phew.
the Room, so he's still got that going on, like
Oh, okay.
Good for Travis Scott. Designing his own PS5 game though.
Hmm.
What it has to be like Def Jam, right? Like, what could it be?
Fucking, I mean, yeah. I don't know. It's something. It's gonna be something. I would
Unle-
say that.
Unless he has some sort of vision where he's like, uh, I really love Roller Coaster Tycoon, and I want to build something
Hmm.
like that. I mean, that's not
Hmm.
out of the realm that it could be something like that. The idea that he makes a management game is probably out of the question.
Yeah. I watch it be one of the best PlayStation 5 games of the whole generation. So
Yeah,
it's something about those Travises. You got to watch out for those Travises.
he's making the video game version of 8 Mile.
Oh, I'm in. Spaghetti. Number 10, the quietly in development Metal Gear Solid movie adaptation received a major shot in the arm on Friday as film industry website Deadline reported that Oscar Isaac is now attached to star as Solid Snake in the film, according to their sources. Isaac is best known for his roles as Poe Dameron in the recent Star Wars trilogy, as Abel Morales in crime thriller A Most Violent Year, and
Hmm.
as Nathan in sci fi thriller Ex Machina. The Metal Gear Solid film is currently in development at Sony Pictures with Kong Skull Island director Jordan Vaught Roberts on board to direct. So Travis, this is one of these that I'm sneaking in on you here. So I'm gonna have to get your shoot from the hip reaction. What do you think of this?
Oh, God, the worst thing about that whole news report was the director of the movie.
Yeah,
I have very strong movie opinions, and I'm not a fan of his work, but whatever. Um,
sure, sure.
Oscar Isaac's one of my favorite working
Mm-hmm.
actors. I feel like we're in the prime of his career potentially.
Agree.
Um, he was great in The Most Violent Year. If you remember watching that together,
Yep. Yeah.
the movie itself's probably a B, but he kind of pulls out a lot of his character was underwritten to me in that movie, and he pulls a lot out of it, just with his mannerisms and his cadence. And
Mm-hmm.
he basically stole the Star Wars movies for me. Like I think they added him into the other movies or added him into a more deeper role because people loved his character so much. So that tells you a lot
Yes.
about him as an actor. He draws you in, and even in other movies, older movies where he's just kind of like a secondary dude in the background, you still seem to
Mm-hmm.
pay more attention to him for whatever reason. So I don't know if I'm not saying he's going to be like Clooney was, but there's certain actors like Javier Bardem that always pull you in.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys for me that just, for whatever reason, he just reels me in.
He is a great fit, I think, for this. Like you said, he's in his prime, and the more I thought about it, and the more that I saw side by side pictures of him and Solid Snake from like the
Hmm.
games, like man, I can totally see it. So, and this is a big name for a video game movie of
Right,
all things. I mean, kind of like Mark Wahlberg doing Uncharted, to be honest. So the
right.
fact that Oscar is going to star, I think that's a huge get for Sony for this movie. And then you got to think that it's going to help pull in some other supporting actors to play,
Mhm.
the other characters from the original game. If they're basing it off that, who knows?
Yeah.
But man, this is exciting stuff. The other thing is Oscar. I read another article about him, well, it was this article actually, I think, but I did read something else. But that dude is busy.
Right,
He's got like 7 films that he's attached to right now. So who knows when this is even going to start
right.
production? That guy's busy. So
And the thing about this movie is, well, first of all, I'm gonna be stoked to see it. So I haven't beat any of the Metal Gear games, but I do enjoy them, and I really
mhm,
like the lore of them. I probably read more about the lore than I've actually played them, if that makes
right,
sense, which is
sure.
kind of weird. But the idea in my head that we're in the movie theater watching this movie, and he he's hiding under a cardboard box, like that won't not be funny to me.
That's true. They need the cardboard box, and we need the huh? What was that
Yeah.
noise? Like so.
We
I
gotta
can't
keep all
wait.
that.
Hmm. And finally, Travis, let's move on to the news nuggets here, number 11. And there are several news nuggets yet again this week, and some bigger ones, but we'll get through them. We'll get through them together. And if you feel like you need to jump in, you just go right ahead. First nugget. Naughty Dog president Evan Wells announced on Friday evening that current vice president and co-creator of The Last of Us, Neil Druckmann, or Dr. Uckman as he's known on Twitter, has been promoted to co-president of the company, while Allison Morey and Christian Geerling have been promoted to vice presidents to fill the gap left by Druckmann's promotion. That's a big move there at Naughty Dog. So I think it's a good one though. And Neil is also going to be executive producing the Last of Us series, so
Mhm.
he needed to probably be freed up to do some other things a little
Yeah,
bit.
they
So
got that Hollywood money now, so
I got that Hollywood money, dot. So that's cool. Next nugget, developer Treyarch announced that Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War's first season of multiplayer content has been delayed from December 10th to December 16th. Website DualShockers reported that the Division 2 will receive a next-gen upgrade in the form of 4K resolution at 60 frames per second with a title update in February. Website Push Square reported that Crash Bandicoot 4 contains a possible Easter egg for a new game in the franchise. A player discovered a mysterious new logo after spinning the TV in the very first level.
nobody noticed that before.
Right. Push Square also reported that Fall Guys Season 3 will be announced at the Game Awards on December 10th, that Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War has increased weapon XP gain in a recent patch, that PlayStation Vita owners were unable to access the device's PlayStation Store for 2 days this week, but the situation has since been resolved. They
Must have
tried to
got
kill it.
must have got
What
like
is
dozens of emails.
Okay, all right. That's enough of that. They tried to kill it, guys. They tried to kill it, but they can't do it. Push Square also reported that the PlayStation 3 got a surprise firmware update this week, which fixes a minor security issue and also updates the Blu-ray capabilities so that users can continue using it as a media player. Now,
That's
there's the system. There's the system they
yeah.
need to kill. Isn't that
Well,
random?
right, but they did it so the Blu-ray will keep working. That's the
Right.
only reason they did it. And
That's
probably because
hilarious.
like some guy Konami has it in his house and he called up PlayStation and was like, "Listen, I just got all of Lord of the Rings on Blu-ray. You better fix this motherfucker." And they're like, "You're right. I'm sorry."
I did have a thought, like, who the hell still needs the PlayStation 3 to play Blu-ray? Like, you can get a Blu-ray player for like $30 now at Target. Like, what are we talking about?
I'm
That's
invested in
whatever.
this, okay?
Jesus Christ. It probably takes you longer to start the movie on a PS3 than it does anywhere else in the world. Whatever.
Mm.
Push Square also reported that new open world action game Crimson Desert from the developer of Black Desert Online is set to receive a gameplay reveal at the Game Awards on December 10th. I wonder if
Dude,
they're going to have the Crimson Desert Fox show up for that.
right. Talk about an overrated general if you want to get into generals of World
Hmm.
War II. What is this game about?
I don't know. I mean, the screenshots look cool. It
Right.
looks like
So
it looks like a medieval, like, I don't know, action sword thing is what
weird
the
thing.
pictures
Yeah,
look
no.
like. Yeah.
It looks interesting. Hopefully it's cool.
Yeah, we'll see. Push Square also reported that Ubisoft is still working to identify and fix issues with some users not being able to get the free PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5 upgrade of Watch Dogs Legion and Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Drive me fucking
And
crazy.
and they also reported that Sony Japan Studio has no plans to develop an expansion or sequel to Astro's Playroom as of now, despite a tease in their last PlayStation blog post. They need to figure it out. Website PlayStation Universe reported that the Australian Classification Board had posted a listing for Two Point Hospital Jumbo Edition, although no platforms or release date were listed. That, quote, exciting plans are in the works for Persona's 25th anniversary next year, according to the team's producer and director, Kazuhisa Wada. Website PlayStation Universe also reported that free-to-play game Genshin Impact made $393 million in its first 2 months on the market. Good
How is that
lord.
possible? How?
It's on mobile and console is how.
With
It's the
93
mobile.
mil,
Guarantee it.
that's insane.
Almost 400 million. Yeah.
They could almost buy Ubisoft.
PlayStation Universe also reported that Dead Island 2 publisher Deep Silver tweeted that the game is still being worked on. Just good to know it has a pulse. And that Cyberpunk 2077 developer CD Projekt Red warned fans that copies are out in the wild early, and that they will have any early streams or videos taken down. CD Projekt Red also revealed that preloading on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 begins on December the 8th. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that Cyberpunk 2077 pre-orders are outpacing The Witcher 3 and that most are for digital copies. That publisher Sega confirmed that Alien Isolation developer Creative Assembly is still working on its first-person shooter project.
Who did that? What publisher was that?
Sega?
Sega?
Sega. It's Sega, not Sega. It's Sega.
What is Sega? What are you? How do you know this? Tell me why I'm wrong.
Look it up. It's Sega.
It's Sega. It says at the beginning when you turn it on, it goes Sega. Ding.
No,
it doesn't
dumb
go. It doesn't go Sega. Ding.
But Americans, it's Sega. But in Japan, it's Sega.
I'm not in Japan.
Okay, Sega. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported also that Christopher Sundberg, the founder and former CEO of Just Cause developer Avalanche Studios, announced the creation of a new studio that focuses on open world action games called Liquid Swords, which sounds kind of like the farts you're having right now.
Liquid Swords. You have a liquid sword fight in the bathroom.
I was thinking the same thing. Oh, people are never going to make it through this podcast. Oh, PlayStation Lifestyle also reported that UK retailer CEX or Sex is on. Oh, we're getting off the rails. Is selling huh?
It's checks.
Okay, Jesus, it's not Sega, it's Sega. It's not sex, it's checks. Jesus Christ, where are we at? UK retailer CEX is selling pre-owned PlayStation 5s from trade-ins for £850, nearly double the MSRP of $450 or quid, whatever the hell you guys call it over there.
That seems illegal,
right? Pounds, quid, whatever the hell you got. I think pounds and quid is like dollars and bucks. I'm guessing. Ask one of your buddies from the F1 league. Whew, this is nuts.
Oh, speaking of, this guy told me he was going to buy a new thing for his sim rig, and he had to wait until the value of the Canadian dollar went up. And I wrote him back and said, "Is that something I'm too American to understand?"
You should write back. Imagine having to wait on the Canadian dollar to go up before I bought something.
Yeah, imagine being a poor asshole that lives above me.
Oh,
sorry, I meant as a country, not you, Austin.
We're just a couple of dumb. We're just a couple of dumb Americans, guys.
Dumb Americans talking shit. I'm glad that you're my hat.
Yeah, our brains have been melted by Donald Trump for 4 years. You got to cut us a break.
Right.
Website PlayStation Lifestyle also reported, Travis, that the PlayStation 5 claimed the top spot in the UK console sales for the month of November. Only the third month in the last 2 years that the Nintendo Switch was not the best-selling console. Look out. That PlayStation announced a God of War crossover with Fortnite in the form of a Kratos skin. Don't care. And that the PlayStation 5 utilizes different models of cooling fans, and one is louder than the other, as discovered by French outlet Le Numérique. Explains a lot. Website Gematsu reported that JRPG Saga Frontier Remastered oh my God, will release on PlayStation 4 digitally in the summer of 2021. That life simulation and monster collecting RPG Re-Legend, which, by the way, this bothers the shit out of me. That is regarding Legend. If this is an email, that is regarding Legend. And people say it's Re-Legend. I don't know. Anyway, Re-Legend will launch on PS4 in the spring of 2021.
No, that's not a life simulation because I can't collect monsters in my life.
Sure you can. Look at your wife. Oh, I'm so sorry, Allie. I don't mean that. It's just a podcast joke.
That's okay. I was going to make a dad joke, so that's fine.
Oh, okay. Whew, man, if people make it through this, God bless you guys. Gematsu also reported that photography game The Good Life will release on PlayStation 4 in the summer of 2021. That virtual camping adventure games Laid Back Camp Virtual Lake Motasu and Laid Back Camp Virtual Fumoto Campsite. We'll never get through this all. Will release on PlayStation 4 this winter and feature support for PlayStation VR.
That game's free to play if you sign up as a rec major in college.
Gematsu reports that Captain Tsubasa, Rise of New Champions, will receive update 1.10 on December 2nd, followed by new DLC characters on December 3rd, so it's out now. That Outward DLC, The Three Brothers, will launch on December 15th on PlayStation 4. That side-scrolling roguelike game Dead Cells has sold 3.5 million copies, and that new DLC Fatal Falls will launch in Q1 of 2021. That's impressive, 3.5 million.
Wow.
Gematsu also reported that video game conglomerate Enad Global 7 has purchased Daybreak Game Company for $300 million, and the deal is expected to close by December 31st. Daybreak Game Company is the developer of PlanetSide, H1Z1, DC Universe Online, and EverQuest. Gematsu also reported that Valhalla sequel Nirvana has been delayed to 2021.
Fucking good God. I would have gotten any of that out of what you just said. Look how they
Oh,
spelled it.
I know. They're cyberpunk games. They're cyberpunk
Oh,
bartending.
right.
They're cyberpunk bartending games. Yeah.
Well, they're spelled like a damn virus.
They are. They are. Gematsu also reported that interactive horror graphic adventure game Borneo: A Jungle Nightmare will launch on PS4 and PS5 in the summer of 2021. That tactical shooter Synthetic Ultimate will release on PlayStation 4 sometime next year. That VR animation sequel Spice and Wolf VR 2 launches on December 10th on PlayStation VR. That beat 'em up, shoot 'em up platformer hybrid game Psychotics Colossus Down will release on PlayStation 4 in January of 2021. That Brigandine, The Legend of Runersia's Titans in the Iron Front update will come to PlayStation 4 on December 10th. That Realm Forge Studios will take over future development of the Tropico series of games.
I've never played those, but I've always, for some reason, wanted to try them. I think the cover art
Yeah.
makes me want to play them. You know, just like in my head, you're just doing some Fidel Castro stuff.
Yes. Yeah, they are. I played a demo for one of them, maybe 4, maybe 5. And they're not bad. They're management games, kind of like the 2 Point Hospital. It's different.
Is it like Civrev and 2 Point Hospital combined?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. There's humor, but there's also, the strategy of it. Gematsu also reported that Neptunia Reverse will release physically and digitally on the PlayStation 5 in North America sometime in 2021. That the King of Fighters 15 reveal is officially set for January 7th. That space time epic fantasy MMORPG Chrono Odyssey has been announced and will release on consoles sometime in 2022. That Persona 5 Strikers will come to PlayStation 4 in the West on February 23rd. And finally, that Eurokill, the Calumniation games, has been delayed to 2021 when it will launch on PlayStation 4 and now also PlayStation 5. And that is all for the news this week. Took us a while to get here, but we made it. We made it. Proud of us. Proud of ourselves. With that, we'll get into the new game releases this week, and I'll turn it over to Travis.
All games listed are PS4 unless stated otherwise. On the 30th of November, we have My Riding Stables 2, A New Adventure. From the 1st of December, we have Chickens on the Road, which is what it sounds like. Chronos Before Ashes, Empire of Sin, which I was really excited about, but it's one of those games where like all of the art doesn't match the game. It's a turn by turn, right? Is that what you said it was? Or called it?
Yeah.
What did you call that game?
Turn-based strategy.
Turn-based strategy. There we go. Not for me, but if you're into the mop kind of thing, you like turn by turn. It's perfect for you.
Mm-hmm.
Also on the 1st, we have Heroes of Hammerwatch, Kawaii Dethu Desu.
Mm-hmm.
We have Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege coming to PS5. Trip Fitness for Your Inner Self on PS4. Twin Mirror. And then on PS4 and 5, we have Worms Rumble. On December the 2nd, we have Buster's Quest Trials of Hamsterdam.
Great name.
That's a really good
That got
name.
you. Yeah, it is.
Also on the 2nd, we have Pawn Poo. That's the best day so far we've had all year. Okay. From December the 3rd on PS5 and 4, we have Haven, followed by Immortals Phoenix Rising, which has some good reviews online and is getting some nice attention. Also, we have Fogs. On the 4th, we have Clash Cup Turbo. Don't bother with that. Followed by Crystal Ortha
I've got a
Dark.
crystal Ortha.
Dragon Quest 11 S. What is the S in Roman numerals?
Oh, who knows? Who knows what they're going for?
All right. Well, Dragon Quest XIS, Echoes of an Elusive Age.
Hmm.
FIFA 21 on PS5, which has probably the best hair modeling I've ever seen in a video game, and I'm not kidding.
Wow, I've heard about this. It's L'Oreal hair. Somebody said on Twitter.
It's silly. Like it's weird that that's what they got really good on this game. Is what I thought when I saw it.
Good lord.
Following that, we have Halloween Candy Break Head to Head, which is a mobile game. We have Madden NFL 21 on PS5, and I watched some people have meltdowns on YouTube about it today. If you're looking
Uh-huh.
for a good 5 or 6 minutes, just type in Madden 21 PS5, and it's hilarious the stuff people come up with. Following that, we have Mia's Picnic. You don't want to miss that. Morbid, The Seven Acolytes. Not Nine
Mm,
Witches Family Disruption. Nostos. Quiplash 2 International The Say. No idea. Steampunk Tower 2 management game. And
mm.
finally, we have Wildfire on PS4.
Wildfire.
It's also the name of my horse on Red Dead.
It is. It is. It's a great song. It's a great folk song as well. So
It
enjoy.
really is a classic.
Yeah, just look that up. Wildfire, YouTube song. And that's
Not
all for the
Wildfire.
new.
Don't watch Wildfires in California.
Don't watch that. That's not fun. And that's all for the new game releases this week. It's time for us to wrap the show up, Travis. We've gone on for way too long. For way too long. So let's close this thing out here with what we're going to be playing in the week ahead. You go first.
We got our first F2 race tomorrow on the UNF1 channel on YouTube. It'll be live broadcast. I'm racing, not commentating tomorrow. We're racing at
Hmm.
Bahrain, the short track, so I'll get in a few quick laps tonight just to get reacclimated. Those F2 cars are very different than the F1. They're very snappy when you drive them, like they want to spin. That's all they want to do.
Hmm.
So I'll do that a little bit tonight. I guess we're going to kill later
That's right.
and get my logins on 2K. Keep working towards that triple threat 25, 50, 100 win XP I can get during the season.
Hmm.
And I'm always on the lookout for some wings, some good wings for my team. So if you find some good steals,
Hmm.
tweet at me, send it to us on YouTube. Just let us know because I'm always ready to try somebody out. My next token reward will probably be Brent Berry or Kerry Kittles.
Yeah.
I'll give one of those a go. So
Yeah.
that's about what I'll be doing. I'm sure there's something else. One of the new GT Sport series started this week. The FIA Championships. I signed up with Lexus to run that. I did. There was a race Wednesday. I did some time trials. I could have done the race. I decided not to, and I had a top 1,000 time in our hemisphere. I was 940, I think. I probably could have done fine with the race, but I wasn't comfortable. I didn't feel like I could keep that pace up for 15 laps. I feel like I was just going to end up crashing. So,
It smelled like bitch in here.
right. So I guess I'll be jumping on that. It's every Wednesday, so I guess I could stream that every Wednesday night,
I mean,
moving forward. So I guess I'll just do that. I just talked myself into doing that. So there we go.
yeah. Duh.
And I
Okay.
guess we'll
What
stream the
else?
race tomorrow.
Stream it.
All right, well, that's
Anything
about it.
else?
That's probably
Okay.
all I'll have time for. I'd like to get some Dirt 5 in. It's
Yeah.
just hard to find time sometimes.
Yeah. Maybe I'll play Dirt 5. I don't know if I'll have time. So I plan to play NBA as well, continue with my team. And we also have failed to mention that we now have an online league
Oh
on
yeah,
NBA that we've been playing. And I am Charlotte, and you are Oklahoma City.
right
Yeah,
OKC.
you're Oklahoma City, and I am Charlotte.
Yep.
So we're finding our way through that. We've discovered already that there's still glitches aplenty in the game mode because they refuse to fix it or play it or both, whatever. I don't know. But it's fine. It's fun. It's a good change of pace. And then I hope to continue to dominate in Black Ops Cold War. Really enjoy that game. And then I do plan to mix in Dirt 5 like I have been. Just a good good breath of fresh air for me to hop in and do a
Mhm.
few races here and there. And then, of course, I'll stay on the saddle with Red Dead Online, getting some daily challenges, working my way through the Outlaw Pass. And then finally, finally, this is a big week. It's a big week for me, as you know. December the 10th, Cyberpunk. I've got it pre-ordered. I'll be ready. I'll be there at midnight. I may even stream. If
Mm.
I can get my wife to give me a break. Give me a break for long enough that I can stream.
Mhm.
I may do that on the YouTube channel. So if you guys are interested in that, I may do that. I will tweet that out. We'll tweet that out if we decide to do that. So you can keep up to date there as well. But super excited for that. That's gonna consume me. It's gonna consume me. So I'm ready. I'm excited. And with that, I think we are done. I think that's all we've got for you guys this week. If you enjoyed the show, please don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Leave us a review on your podcast service. And why not share us with a friend who may enjoy a PlayStation podcast such as this, where they can get all the news in less than 90 minutes. And if you would like to engage with us, you can do that on Twitter at the DualSense Pod. If you want to catch some streams or video clips, or maybe just listen to the episode, you can do that on YouTube at the DualSense Podcast. And you guys take care, stay safe. We'll talk to you next week.